somebody. I am somebody. I may be poor, but I am somebody. I may be on welfare, but I am somebody. I may be unskilled, but I am somebody. I am black, beautiful, proud. I must be respected. I must be protected. What time is it? When we stand together, what time is it? When we say no more yes about, what time is it? What time is it? What time is it?
And we're back. This is Brian HRap B. Williams. This is the Intervention Media. This is a show called A Few Minutes with HRap B. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Hit that like, please. Hit that share, please. Tell a friend to tap in. It's important. I am, like I said, I thank my parents, Dolores and John. I thank you guys for subscribing. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Today, last night I got a notification saying last month it was 550,000 that you tapped in. It is important that you continue to do so. It is greatly appreciated that you have done that. I greatly, greatly appreciate it. Thank you guys for supporting me. Thank you. Now, today's show is called The Brand. The brand is the thing that what you hear people talk about on a regular basis today. That's my brand. This is my brand. I'm forming my brand. You see right behind me, Mercedes, top of the line in regards to cars. Nikes, top of the line in regards to athletic shoes. Louis Vuitton, top of the line in regards to garment bags and things of that nature. And Apple, top of the line in regards to technology. When you see those brands, you think excellence. The reason I'm titled this brands today is because what's your brand? See, one way, a lot of people complain about what's going on inside of the community, lack of culture, too much violence, this, that, and the third. But how about this? Let's create a brand for each other. Let's create a brand for you. See, my brand is HRap or Williams. That's my brand because I am part Pollard, I am part Liggins, I am part Williams, I am part Whitmore. That's my lineage right there. That's the major lineage right there. That's my grandparents, my parents, and my fathers and my grandfathers. That's the name. Williams is my father's name. That's my family name. Pollard is my mother. Whitmore is connected to my mother. And Liggins is connected to my grandmother. That's who I am. Those are the brands that I represent. Just like Mercedes, Nike, Apple, and Louis Vuitton. Those are my brands. And what we need to do is establish what is the important brand for you, your children, our children. Like I tell you, every time you see me on air, I say the goal of this program is to make our grandchildren's, great-grandchildren's life better than we could ever imagine. And if you start establishing your brand inside of your children, I know someone, I'm not going to say her name, but hopefully she's watching. Her daughter's a doctor. She is, her brand is on fire right now. That's the type of brand. I got a friend whose daughter is having a bang up time in Florida because she has an NIL deal, getting paid to play baseball. And she's killing. His son is a high-ranking person in the military. They're doing the damn thing. My daughter makes more money than me. My son is in training to make more money than me. My brand is on fire. What's your brand? Have you created a brand? Have we instilled in our children that we're going to love them so much that we don't have to hit them? Do you understand? This is what my mother did. This is what my grandmother Maddie Mae did. We call her mother. This is what she did. My grandma Lois, they poured so much love into me that when they were disappointed, I felt like, why don't you just hit me, man? Because this speech is killing me. And not, I want you to shut up. It just made me feel horrible. That my number one supporter, even more, I felt like they supported me more than my mother because my mother didn't play. So I was like, yeah, you being mean. And these are the two ladies that got my back. It was like, it was horrible. My grandmother Esther, my great grandmother Esther, she used to get on me if I wasn't doing right in school, and it made me feel horrible. So you don't even have to hit a child when you pour into them and know you make that kid feel like the world revolves around them, and then that person is disappointed in you. You've messed up the brand. Have you created a brand? Are we instilling this brand? Are you like, you ever notice when you see the rich and powerful on TV, even the president, every president, you never known him as George or Bill or Joe, Ronald. They're known as Reagan. They're known as Bush, Clinton, Trump, Obama. That's their brand. That's the excellence that they represent. Now, we know that other one of those is at least two of those that they brand is trash with their name. But you understand my point. The brand, when you see the name, that's why it's buildings. That's why they are contractors. They are real estate developers that pay him to put his name on that building, because he started it in New Jersey International and have his name there. When you're on the Riverwalk in Chicago, you see his name on the back end of the building. It stands for power, and he's duped a bunch of people into believing it is financial excellence that comes along with his name. When you say Bill Gates, you think technology. When you say Warren Buffett, you think finance. What is our brand? We can make our brand, meaning our last name, be just as powerful as any other. I met one of my homeboys' daughter. She was like, "Yeah, Brian, I'm going back to Egypt for the third time." I'm like, wow. Do you understand? I know my homeboy's past with the mistakes that my homeboy made, and his life is going well now. But do you understand that this brother has a daughter who has gone to Egypt? How many of us got that? See, that's the beautiful thing. Like, when my children leave the country and they have some wonderful stories to tell me or send me videos. I got a video on my phone when both my children going snorkeling. One of them can't even swim, but she jumped in the ocean. This is what I'm talking about. When they go to Puerto Rico together, when they go to the Dominican Republic together, when they go to Jamaica together, this is what I'm talking about. My nieces and my daughter in December, they are enhancing the brand. They're setting the pace for their children. My nephew Cantrell just graduated, man. He's my great nephew. He just graduated. He's enhancing the brand. See, we get caught up in, I have on these brands, so they represent what I mean. I drive this brand, so it represents, I carry this Louis Vuitton brand, so it enhances me. No, you enhance it, because they saying Miss Smith is killing it. She's a beautiful woman. She makes $250,000. She's running said company, and she got my bag. So the rest of y'all say, well, I want to be like Miss Smith. I want to be like Miss Jackson. I want to be like Miss Washington. Black names. And you go get the bag to emulate. I want to be like this rapper and emulate it. I want to be like this singer and emulate it. But guess what? Guess what? Okay, he's a kindergarten teacher now. See, that's what I'm saying. He's pouring, look, he's not only enhancing my brand, my mother's brand, my grandmother's brand, he's enhancing his brand. He's influencing other young people, making their lives better. See, and further enhancing the brand. And if you don't believe what I'm saying, how many of us can remember that one or even 5 teachers that made a difference in your life? At William E. Gladstone Elementary, it was a teacher by the name of Miss Lewis. There was 2 of them. Everybody loved Miss Lewis. You say Miss Lewis, young people smile because she was pouring into people. For me, it was Miss Johnson and Miss Dow. Even though Miss Dow wasn't part. technical difficulty. My bad. My bad, Miss Down. She enhanced my life. She wasn't part of the culture, but she did. This is what I want you to understand. She was technical difficulty. It was a glitch in the matrix. But you had people pouring into us. They were enhancing our family brand. They were enhancing our communal brand. What are you doing to enhance that brand? See, it's easy to sit around and say, man, these YNs, which is so disrespectful. You calling these people YNs. Would your great grandmother allow you to call a young black child a YN? No, no, they would not. They would feel so disrespected. If they said why, if you call somebody these YNs, they'll say, what's that mean? And if you told them, they want to bust you in your head, bust you upside your head, because we don't need to be calling our young people by these derogatory names, talking about we took control of the name. No, we ain't taking control of the name. Let's stop embracing negatively, tomfoolery, and foolishness, man. Ain't none of that, man. Why are we so quick to want to embrace stupidity? Why, y'all? We can't do that anymore. We can no longer embrace stuff that is not beneficial to us. We are not going to turn a negative into a positive. Because guess what? If somebody started calling you manure, I'm manure. No, you wouldn't. So we're not going to embrace those things. But back to the point of the brand. The brand is what you represent. The brand is what your parents instilled in you. The brand is what you should be a part of. That's what you should be doing. Making your last name the Nike of whatever you want to do, the Mercedes of whatever you want, the Apple. So when they hear Williams, they go excellence. When they hear Smith, when they hear Jackson, when they hear Lewis, when they hear Harper, or whatever name that's attached to you, make that your brand. Hell, even change your name. Do like me. Come up with a pseudonym, HRap. So if you want to enhance your thought process and say, I only want to glorify this person who enslaved my ancestor, that name. So call yourself HRap, like my man Mook. He in the chat room. We know him as Mook. You can call yourself the greatest. You can call yourself whatever. You can call yourself Denise. I don't want a milk of cookies. You can call yourself whatever, but make sure that name is enhanced. Now, what I want you to do is like I ask you to do every day. What I want you to do, if you're not watching this live, go to www.theendofthebench.com, www.theendofthebench.com, and hit that like, hit that share, tell a friend to tap in, please, because it's important. You help me enhance my brand, and that hopefully I'm helping you enhance yours. And I just want to say hello to everyone and thank you for the support. If you haven't, share, like, tell a friend to tell a friend. Hit that like on Facebook. Hit that like on YouTube. You can watch this live on YouTube. You can watch this later on YouTube, or I prefer that you go to my website and enhance me while I attempt to enhance you. Right there, www.theendofthebench.com. It's important that we do so. It is very important that we do so because this allows me to move forward with my mission. I want to thank you again. And again, if you haven't subscribed now, the question I ask, what's the purpose of a brand? The purpose of a brand is to establish excellence, to establish a name, to ensure that you're never forgotten. Now, you don't want to be unforgettable in a nefarious way. You don't want to be, you can be a spectacle, which help make people look, or you can be spectacular. Now, you can cause a spectacle and make people look. Now, when everybody looking, and then you let them see how spectacular you are. That's the goal in this. You want to be spectacular. You don't want to be a spectacle. The purpose of a brand is to show how spectacular you are. A lot of people see spectacle because attention is currency, and attention makes people want to pay attention. But they only gonna pay. You only look at a car wreck for a short period of time. You don't get out your car and look at a car wreck. You might slow down, ruin traffic, and look at the car wreck. But after a while, that spectacle is over. Spectacular, you create the spectacle and you become spectacular. The spectacle, hey, look at me. And then everybody stop and look. And then you can sing well, or you have great oratory skills, or you're saying something profound in regards to a poem. You can show that you have music to sell. You can have a movie. You can hand somebody a book, a free book, and that book is wonderful, so it becomes spectacular. See, that's the purpose of a brand, to make you turn your spectacle into spectacular. The spectacle is the brand new crispy pair of shoes. Woo! And the spectacular is, man, my feet feel wonderful. A spectacle is a brand new shiny vehicle. And next thing you know, you sit in that car and you feel a ride, and it's spectacular. Software, just happen to be doing this show on an Apple, on a MacBook. It's spectacular. And when I have all this functionality, things that I didn't have, when I couldn't do this with, like, watch this. This is what something I couldn't do on my PC. I couldn't do this. So it becomes spectacular. It enhances things. I can, as I speak, I can do this. It becomes spectacular. So you have to create a brand for who you are, what you're doing, and what you stand for, and then it becomes spectacular instead of just a spectacle. These are the things that we have to work on, because everybody, look, currency, attention is currency. But what kind of attention do you want? You are not the Chicago Bears. You are not Jerry Jones. You are not the New York Yankees. You're not some superstar athlete where attention, all attention is good attention. Poor attention, making it a spectacle, does not enhance your brand. You need to be spectacular to enhance your brand. So if you sell clothing, you sell shoes, you are a seamstress, you are a poet, you are an author, the spectacle may be the cover of your book. The spectacular is the wordplay that you have to enhance the mind of your readers, or engage them, or to be able to transcend them, make it transcendent, so they can take themselves metaphysically to where you were in your story. And now it's transcendental meditation. Your reading has encapsulated them and taken them to where you are representing whatever that story is. That's the spectacular. So the purpose of a brand is to draw attention and to show you to expect a certain amount of excellence. What does their brand stand for? Their brands stand for excellence. See, that's why we bust our hump. That's why we go broke. That's why we look good. You know, like my man Coach Prime, our brother Coach Prime. If you look good, you feel good. If you feel good, you do good. These brands represent looking good. I look good because I have the latest Nikes or the latest Air Jordans. I look good because I'm riding around in this slick vehicle that everybody wants. Look at this bag I'm carrying. This ain't poor leather. This is quality leather. I have accessible pockets and things of that nature. So all my things are all aligned, and it represents a regal presence. And the technology that I use is top flight. Everything I do is top flight. That's what their brand stands for. What does your brand stand for? Why do you need a brand? Your brand is you, and you trickle it down to your children, grandchildren, nieces, nephews, cousins, aunts, and uncles. They represent your grandparents. They represent your elders. They represent your ancestors. That's what a brand stands. That's what their brand is for. So this is why you need to create your own brand and supplement your cause into theirs. Instead of always supporting somebody else, how about supporting you? See, we've been trained, and I'm going to talk about that on my next program. Tomorrow I may have a guest. If not, I'm going to talk about destroying the Uncle Ruckus inside of you. But as of for now, we're going to create our brand. Make sure the brand of the Black community stands for excellence, love, peace, harmony. And of course, we have issues in our community. If I had to be a teacher right now, I would give us a C, because we're okay, but we could be doing way better. But we're not doing the worst, like the media represents us, like social media represents us. See, if you can you can follow the algorithm, and you can see the worst of the worst of the worst of us. You'll see that every day, all day. But where's the algorithm to show you all these people on the south and west sides of Chicago and underserved communities? Because I told y'all, we're not poor. We are underserved. We're striving. See, that's part of our brand, to strive. Resilience is part of the Black brand. Support is part of the Black brand. Kindness is part of the Black brand. That's our brand. Don't allow somebody to tell you what our brand is, because we all know what the brand really is. We know what the brand truly stands for, but we have allowed people to tell us, see, that's your problem. See, we need to do better. Everybody needs to do better. It ain't just people in our community. We don't have no monopoly on chaos. We don't have no monopoly on maniacal behavior. And stop allowing people to tell you what your brand is. The Black community brand is ingenuity, the ability to walk through blazing hot fire, the fire of discrimination, the fire of racism, the fire of exclusion, the fire of all the chaotic behavior that has been pressed upon us for the last 400 years. But see, here's the brand that you really need to be purposing. Your life does not, the sum total of our community is not what's going on in the American lexicon. It's just not. See, you only think, since enslavement. No, that's like saying, since I got the F in school, you could have been a valedictorian and got an F. If you use a clock and measure since the day one up into where we are now on the clock, the enslavement period in regards to the Black community would only be from like 12 to 1203. If that long. You got hundreds of thousands of years of history. Benin, the whole area used to be called Ghana, not just that little cut of land. Nigeria, Kemet, Egypt, Ethiopia. You know why they made Ethiopians look bad in the 80s? Because Ethiopians are the only people on that continent not to be colonized. They kicked everybody who came that ways behind. That's where the original churches are. That's where the original Bible is. That's where in the year, and if you look it up right now, I challenge you. I always tell you, don't take my word for anything I say. Look up, Google it right now. What year is it in Ethiopia? You will pleasantly find out that it's the year 2017. They don't use this Gregorian calendar because they stick to their brand. And as usual, it's time for me to get on brand in regards to history in this community. And what do I mean by that? If you're new to the program, because I just started streaming on another service, on another platform, just start streaming on Facebook. You can catch me on Facebook if you want to watch there. But what I want you to understand is this. I'm going to show you something about how wonderful our brand is. It ain't about enslavement. It ain't about discrimination. It ain't about oppression. It's about how wonderful we are as a people. You're about to see one of the greatest Black women in the history of the world, and I'm going to show you how wonderful she is. You've heard the name, but you're finna see who she is. You're going to see a small portion of who she is. Hit that like, hit that share, subscribe if you haven't, tell a friend to tap in. Please pay attention to this.
Anti-lynching crusade in the United States in the early 1890s. She went on to become an integral part in the early fight for African-American civil rights. And if this is the type of content that you enjoy, you can find more content like this at onemichistory.com. Also, if you'd like to support the channel, you can do so in my Buy Me Coffee or my Patreon page in the description below. Also, please give us 5 stars on Apple Podcasts and go support the YouTube channel. But without further ado, let's get started. Born in Holly Springs, Mississippi, July 16, 1862, Wells was the oldest daughter of James and Lizzie Wells. Ida was about 3 when the Civil War ended and slavery was abolished. Her father, James, had been trained as a carpenter and was able to support his family without becoming a sharecropper. Because of this, he was extremely self-sufficient, determined, and proud. Once the war ended, Wells's family became politically active in Reconstruction era politics, and James became a trustee in Shaw College, now Russ College, a freedmen's school in her native Holly Springs, Mississippi. This instilled the importance of education in Wells.
You're not going to believe what happened. Tell me everything. I'll show you on Monday.com. So I started the biggest...
In 1887, when Wells was visiting her grandmother, she was informed of a yellow fever outbreak in Holly Springs, Mississippi. The disease took both her parents and her infant brother, and she was left to raise her siblings. She took a job as a teacher at a county school so she could keep the family together, and eventually she moved the entire family to Memphis, Tennessee, where she continued to work as an educator into the 1880s. When Reconstruction was over, the South started changing rapidly. Jim Crow was gradually constricting Black people's rights and freedoms with the enforcement of segregation. Wells began to protest Jim Crow on a train ride between Memphis and her job as an educator in a rural school. May 4th, 1884, the train conductor of the Chesapeake, Ohio Railroad ordered Wells to give up her seat in the first-class ladies' car and move to the train's smoking car. Earlier in 1883, the United States Supreme Court had ruled against the Federal Civil Rights Act of 1875, which banned racial discrimination in public accommodations. This verdict supported rail companies who chose to segregate their passengers based on race.
And as you see, continue to watch. I want you to go to www.theendofthebench.com and watch the remainder of that. Or you can go right here on YouTube and go to Country Boys One Mic History. The reason I asked you that, I'm just be open and honest. The reason I asked you to go to www.theendofthebench.com so you can support both of us in one fell swoop. You go there. You see this video its entirety if you came late, and you will also see the entire video about our ancestor, Ida B. Wells, and see how, again, her brand was, I told you, our brand is stick-to-itiveness, our brand is resilience, our brand is creativity, our brand is family, loving, culture, and enhancing and uplifting. Do not allow, it ain't like that anymore. You are a darn fool if you believe that. You have lost your entire mind if you believe that's no longer our brand. This is what we have to do. And why should you make your name a brand? Because your name represents everything about you. If you go into a church, and my pastor's in the audience, so don't nobody say, "Hey, how you doing, James?" They say, "Pastor died." When people see me, I remember one of my uncle's friends, he saw me playing sports. He didn't even know who I was. He walked up to me and said, "You are Pollard." And he was correct. I had people see me do this program. One of my brothers, and he was at his aunt's house, and she said, "Who is that?" And she said, "He's your father's son." He said, "Yeah, that's my brother." Exactly. Because I'm a Williams, and I represent the Williams brand, the Elegance brand, my grandmother, the Pollard, the Whitmore brand. I represent all of these things because I'm not going to be a spectacle. Everything I do the goal is to be spectacular. And if I'm spectacular, guess what? John and Dolores, who I thank before every show, I represent. See, here's the beauty in my brand. Brian is my mother's favorite name. That's why she named me Brian. Williams is my dad's last name. HRap is the name that was bestowed upon me by a coach. So I represent my favorite coach, my parents, and the coach is a person who uplifted me. He bestowed that name upon me, so I have to be the best I could be and represent the best I can. My mother's name, and if you knew my middle name, is an amalgamation of both of their names. So every time you say my name on any level, it represents the people who poured into me. Now, if you were at my church, Pastor Dodd would say, every action you take represents the greatness that God put in you. So that's even your brand. You make God, hey, I'm a Christian. That's your brand. Well, you need to be the best Christian. If you believe in Islam, well, the Prophet Muhammad and Allah need to represent your brand. You need to flourish in their brand because every time you make a mistake, they say, you're supposed to be a Muslim. You're supposed to be a Christian. So again, reestablishing that brand and enhancing your life so you can be the best you can be. That's why you need to create a brand. Because guess what? When you see Mercedes, you think automotive excellence. When you see Nike, you see athletic attire excellence. And if somebody say, "Hey man, I got a new MacBook," you thinking, "Oh man, he big time." And if you see somebody walking with a Louis Vuitton bag, you thinking, "Oh, they killing it," even though they stole that label and the thing from black people. But we ain't, that's y'all know I had to get it. And I'm not gonna let you slide when you steal from me, man. I'm not. But I'm gonna show you how. With this, I'm gonna show you how no matter where your brand starts, Malcolm X, that is not where it finishes. No matter what blemishes, mistakes that you potentially or allegedly have made during your walk, Dr. King, does not represent your brand in its entirety. And no matter how much the media and social media and people spread the negativity about our community, that does not mean you are not supportive, you are not enhancing, you're not in love, you're not on the spiritual walk to enhance the world. Because if it bleeds, it leads. It's the motto of the television. So why in the entire hell would they show you doing well? See, they need the chaos, so you will believe that the chaos permeates through the entire community, so you can spread propagandized lies, and then you'll be able to do their job for them. See, but if you have your own brand, if you make your name your brand, so just like my pastor, when he walked down the street, older people may not know, hey, that's James. They know, hey, that's Pastor Dodd's second son. So he's representing the Dodd family. I represent the Pollard, Liggins, Whitmore, and Williams family. My sisters, they do the same thing. They do that with their father. I'm from a blended family. My brothers do the same, so forth and so on. My nieces and nephews, they do the same. See, we represent everything that is us. Everything that is you, it is enhanced by what you do. Now, I'm not asking you or saying you should be perfect. Nope. Because remember, Gucci, or was it Guess? One of them, Gucci, had the big lip thing, and y'all said, we ain't gonna mess with you for 30 days. Which, never mind. But their brand has been restored. There's been several people, several entities, several instances where people have had hiccups along the way. But you are not your worst mistake. You are sum total of everything that you do. That's why you need to make yourself your brand. When you leave a house, I represent my mother with Brian. I represent my father with Williams, and everything connected to the Williams, and everything connected to Brian and my mother and her grandmother and her grandfather and her parents, and the same thing with my father. So that's why I do my very best every day when I come on here to represent me, God, my parents, my children. And guess what? Even the people who affiliate themselves with me are represented, because hopefully you guys are saying, check out my man. And when people check out your man, they go, man, that was okay. And I've done my job. I've done my job. I've enhanced everything that you. So when you see me with my brothers, when you see me with my sisters, when you see me with all of my extended family, we represent the best of the community. And that's why you need to make your brand paramount. Your brand is exactly what you represent. Now, if you represent tomfoolery, then, hey, man, it's never too late. It's not, hey, if you can do this, you can start over. You can start over. And you do not allow somebody else to tell you what your brand represents. Your brand represents you and only you. You create it, and it permeates to expound about centuries of people, decades, eons about everything that you are about. So with that being said, don't allow somebody to tell you what your brand is. You tell yourself what your brand is. And then you can either be a spectacle, which will draw attention, or you could be spectacular, or you can use the specular to display your spectacular ability. Those are the things that you need to be focused on, not what somebody think about, or somebody tell you about, and what somebody assume is. You are great. That's the way God made you. You are great. That's what you represent. And you are not any mistakes that you've made. With that being said, 2 fingers, because that's peace, 1 word, and I'm out. Thank you. See you either tomorrow evening with my man Fly Ty, or I will do this. This is the next program. Either I'm gonna interview Ty and talk about his testimony, or we will cover this. This is the next thing I'm gonna cover, because I want to continue on this brand mission. The brand mission is the most important thing, but this is something I also want to talk about. Let me pull this up. Pictures, images. This is something I really want to talk about. We have to destroy the inner Uncle Ruckus that's in all of us. There's an Uncle Ruckus inside of all of us, a self-hating, self-loathing, self-destructive image, repeating and regurgitating negativity that permeates through our community. Either tomorrow, if my guest isn't available, I'm going to talk about that then, or Wednesday, I will talk about that. Self-hate will end as soon as we can end it. With that being said, again, I'm out. Listen to the end. It's important.
King's Convention, according to the New York Times on September the 26th, said, quote, we have been duped, meaning these persons involved in the civil rights struggle, of which King is the symbolic leader. His right-hand man says, and I quote, we have been duped, or have duped ourselves, into believing that the chains have been broken, when in truth we have only been chained more securely. Half freedom has in many instances been worse than no freedom at all. Why, don't ask me what I think about their struggle. I can tell you what they think about their struggle. And they are pointing out that it is becoming more difficult every day for the civil rights leaders to keep the masses of black people nonviolent and long-suffering and patient, and keep them from becoming disenchanted.